Okay, welcome everyone to Pacific Mystery School, second Saturday Tarot. Today we're entering into the Tarot and the 10 cosmological powers of the universe. So this is a somewhat of a summary of the teachings and pulls them all together, where we are and where we have come to. So there's a lot of information connected in this, but I expect people to be able to understand it now, or at least know where to find it. Now we're going to try to progress forward, unless it wants me to say some more. Okay. Human consciousness. Okay, here is human consciousness. Here is our planet. Here is the eye, the all-seeing eye of human consciousness. Human consciousness is the consciousness of the universe. It is the consciousness in, of, and as the universe. Why is that the case? Because we are the universe. The universe is not out there somewhere. This is one of the biggest things that is so important for us to understand. We grew up out of this planet. This planet is part of the universe, and everything on this planet is of the universe. This planet is of the universe. Our sun is of the universe. And our consciousness reflects that. That's who we really are. The universe is reflected and created in the image of human consciousness, which is universe itself. So it becomes mirror-like. We seek to understand the meaning of the universe, our origins, what the meaning of all of this is as we walk our path in, as, and of universe. We are no more and no less than universe seeking to understand the nature of its own existence. This is what is so interesting about us. We reflect as humans. We have the power of reflection. We reflect upon who we are, what our existence is about, and where we're going. We raise this question again and again. Who are we really? Who am I really? What do I really know? What am I really made of? And we enter into this journey to know the self, whatever self might mean. We enter into a journey of conscious understanding and embodiment, embodying the universe. Who are we as consciousness understanding itself, as consciousness embodying itself? As children, we begin to experience ourselves within this environment that we are born into, and what we realize is that we are alive. Maybe. We don't always realize that, even as adults. So a big part of our path is to realize we are alive. And within us is spirit, the spirit of the universe, life force that brings us into being and inspirits us with energy. We realize our heart is beating out a cosmic rhythm. Our heart leaps when we feel fear or when we feel love. And we also realize that a river of blood flows through our bodies. And it's just like the river of life. It's like the water, the system of water that flows all around the planet. the world see and all the continuing movement of all the waters of the planet. Our breath moves in and out, from the moment we are born until the moment we die. I should put die in quotes here because that's another long story. But I'm going to leave it at this for now. Our breath moves in and out from the moment we are born to the moment we die. We breathe, we reflect, we remember, and we formulate. And our body holds all of this, our spirit, our breath, our heart. And with our hands, we create and we destroy. And then, like everything that lives around us, everything that is around us, we are born and we will die. Everything. Even a rock does not last forever. It's impacted by all of the elements around it, and it changes. We look around and we begin to experience our world in this way. It seems as if that which comprises ourself seems to comprise the world around us. There's air, just like our breath. And in our Western mystery tradition and in the shamanic tradition, which I'll mention later, that breath comes to represent thought. Even as we breathe, we think. Then there's the sun, fire. It feels like life force itself to us. And then there's water, the blood that is within us, the heart within us, and the water that flows around this entire planet. And then there's the body of it all. We look down and we see the dirt. We see the earth. We feel this body. And then we see this body flowering, even as we flower within our body. And even as we go through all the stages in our life that a flower goes through in its life. This is primal consciousness. This is about our primal consciousness. Our primal consciousness as humans seeks to find unity. But in order to find unity, we break things apart. We take things apart. We have to take them apart and then we put them back together. So what we take things apart into first, it is said, is we take them apart into fire, water, air, and earth, which become the primal components of who we see ourselves as, and also the way we see the world around us. Spirit, heart, mind, and body. These are the four elements. These are the four primal components. These are the four aspects of shamanism the world over from the beginning. From the beginning. So I'm saying C. Mircea Eliade, shamanism, he's passed now, but he was an anthropologist from the University of Chicago, and he wrote the book called Shamanism, which actually examined the shamanic process worldwide. And he found that worldwide, four basic components of shamanism: fire, water, air, earth. And this goes back in time. Then we begin to move into numbers, which I'll come back to. So with these elements, fire, water, air, and earth, and these numbers, we begin to model images of how it's my favorite word right now, how it came to be. How did it all come to be? So we start looking at origination and emanation. Where did it come from? How is it emanating? What are the stages of movement? What's the outflow, steps and stages of the creation of the universe, of the creation of ourselves, of our own consciousness, and what is time, what is space? So we start modeling it, modeling it. This is what our species does. And Carl Jung said, okay, I have to tell you that I don't ascribe to this. I'm just telling you Carl Jung said it. So if he said it, we should ascribe to it. Okay, all right. That's my little disclaimer. Okay, he said our first drawing and our first thought pattern is the mandala with fire, water, air, and earth. He felt that it was absolutely primal consciousness for every child entering into this planet. And he had lots of examples of it, of a drawing of a circle, cross, with the 4 divisions. So, and he's got a book called Mandala in which he explains this. Okay, I guess I have to say, and I don't want to diverge too much, but I wanted to mention Jung because he is ascribing to this shamanic theory as well. But I've been around lots and lots and lots of little baby children who are just starting to draw. And here's what I see children drawing, so I'm going to throw it in. They draw trees, they draw the sun, they draw rainbows and things like that are mysteries in their world. I actually personally think the circle cross is sort of a next level, but Jung said it was first. Okay, so I'd like to talk to him about that, so maybe we'll get a chance one of these days. Okay. So the first element, fire, spirit. And so I put on this slide suggestion south, because it turns out that people worldwide have placed these directions, elements, in a circle and attributed directionality, north, south, east, west, around the circle. So the fire, so I put suggestion south because it's not always in the south. It depends on where you are and where you would experience the sun, for example. So here in the northern hemisphere, the sun is more in the south, and so that's a feeling of that's where fire belongs. But fire is the main element. And in the Western Mystery School, usually fire is placed in the south. But so water, it could be placed anywhere. It depends on where water is. There might be a huge body of water to the east of you or whatever, and that's where water would be placed. So I want to say this part is subjective. The fire, water, air, and earth move through it all, but where it's placed in a circle regarding directionality can vary, okay? So fire, spirit, life force, will to manifest, universe coming alive. These are some of the attributes of fire. There are many more, as you know. Water, okay, suggestion west. And the reason I'm saying suggestion again is because this is where it's placed in the Western Mystery School. And I am just lucky myself that water is to the west of me, and so it works. But it doesn't always work, so I just want you to keep that in mind. So water, what is water? Blood, heart and soul, it comes to represent. Planetary life sustainer. Life sustainer. Life as we know it. That's always the phrase. Well, life as we know it is based on water because we live on this teeny tiny planet called Earth where it's a water planet and we have to have water to survive. It comes to represent, therefore, the passionate and compassionate universe. This is our universe. This is the universe that we inhabit. This is the universe we are made of. Water. Air, suggestion, east, breath, thought, consciousness. It's also the place where the sun rises here. Okay, so breath, thought, consciousness, universe, becoming aware of its own existence. So this is the mind of ourselves, our mind, our process of reason, the intellect. Intuition also overlaps air. It is mostly coming out of the water, the feelings. Earth, suggestion, north. So earth is physicality, that which contains all the elements, the universe embodied. So the body that contains these elements, and the other elements would be the fire, life force, the water, the emotions, and then the next one would be the thought, air. So the body contains all of those elements. We are the universe embodied, and everywhere we look around us, we see universe embodied as luminous energy, luminous objects, all luminous objects that emerge out of the dark matter contain and produce light. Even the moon, it doesn't just reflect the light of the sun, it produces its own light as well. It's luminous matter. We are embodied earth. We are the spirit, heart, mind, and body of the universal tree of life as it keeps moving out of itself. We are the living universe. And this is the core of the mystery school teachings. You are alive. You are living universe. Each of us seems to be like a leaf on the tree of life. We exist for a season. We emerge. We go through a beautiful cycle, and then we're gone. But within the tree, the whole forest is contained. The forest contains the tree, and then the seeds are dropped from the tree, and every seed contains the whole forest. And that's the metaphor for the tree of life. It goes on. We go on. We cast our seeds, and everything continues. The forest continues. By the way, it takes fire burning a redwood forest, for example, for the redwood trees to go to seed. There are mysteries in the universe that are really big. Our hands, we look at our hands and we say, oh, our hands are like leaves, aren't they? I'm looking at this leaf and it's got five aspects coming out. I look at my hand. I've got what that leaf has. And the sap is flowing through the tree. Isn't that like the blood flowing through my body? So we notice these things, and then we begin to research, to understand more, to classify, to categorize. What makes planetary beings, that's earth beings, alike and different? So we begin to examine, we count, we classify, we use our 1 through 10 system. We take things apart, we look at them, and we taxonomize. And then by doing that, we can name, and through naming, we understand better who we are. This is what we do as humans. Our hands, we look at our hands create, our hands destroy, our hands count, our hands group. Well, we've got 5 fingers, 2 hands, and that makes the number 10. So we can easily count out 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it turns out we wound up with a base 10 number system, surprise, surprise, that is used around the entire planet. All our math, all our science is based on those 10 fingers, counting with those 10 fingers. Here's what else we do. We dismember to remember. We take things apart. And this is one of the mysteries of the mystery school as well, just to contemplate. Analysis presupposes a corpse, because the more we analyze something, the more we can kill it. That's another aspect. So that there's a moment where we wind up thinking, oops, it's dead. And once it's dead, what does that do to the mystery? So that's just a note. And now I want to tell you something about my own story, because even so, it's our nature to dissect, to learn within and without. So I'm having a memory of myself as I was putting this together. 10th grade, the good, the bad, and the ugly of 10th grade. So this is 10th grade biology. I don't know if any of you went through that. And I love biology, but I like the living part of it. Okay, so I grew up with with animals, with frogs and snakes, and and I loved all that life that was all around me. Prairie dogs, prairie dogs. Anyway, so we're gonna have a big surprise in our science class. And there's a big build up to it that's going on for weeks. We're going to have a big surprise. We're going to have a big surprise, and everybody's all excited. Oh, we're getting a big surprise. So one day we go in and the big surprise is there. So we have 2 pretty big boxes full of beautiful big jumping frogs. And we were invited to open the boxes, and we opened the boxes, and all the frogs jumped out, and they were all over the classroom, and it was so exciting. We were so excited. Oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. So we were instructed to catch a frog, and then we had all this equipment, so we were instructed to put the frog on the dissecting table. One frog shared between 2 people. Well, this is always the way I am now, has always been with me. I was the only one in the class who could not, did not, would not. And I said, I'm not going to kill this frog. These are my friends. I was not going to kill it. So, and you had to pith it in the head with this, thing. Any of you who are in biology or ever have been know that. You pith it in the head and you stir its brains up. That's how you kill it. I could not. I couldn't. I refused. I thought it was immoral. I couldn't understand it. So my teacher said, okay, you don't want to do this. You're getting a D. And I said, okay, all right, I'm getting a D. So he said, leave. I said, okay. So I left. So I went out in the hall, cried probably, because I didn't want a D, just because I was a wimp, because that's the thought. You're a wimp, And so pretty soon he came out there. Well, you couldn't be in the hall without a pass anyway. So pretty soon he comes out and he says, okay, you can watch. And I didn't even want to watch. But I learned something. So I want to tell you what I learned, because it stayed. I didn't learn about dissecting frogs. I knew that was not my path. But the one thing that I learned was, so we had microscopes and we had slides and all this. So we took heart cells out of the hearts were still beating. When you kill the frog with the brain, you make the frog brain dead, the heart still beats. Oh, I couldn't handle it. You cut it open, they're still alive. And so we took the heart cells, you scrape them off, we put them on a slide, we put other heart cells from another frog, and maybe even a third frog, on the same slide, and put it under the lens. And so they're beating, but what winds up happening is those heart cells on the slide begin to synchronize, bubble, 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 till they're all beating together. All different frogs, so they all beat the same pulse, the same rhythm of the universe. Okay, that was a huge lesson for me, because later in life, when I was involved with working with people a lot, we would be inside that circle cross, we would be inside the circle, and we would join hands, and we would stand there with our hands joined in silence, and we would feel each other's pulse. Well, guess what, everybody? Pretty soon, it's all one pulse. Bubble. Try it. Post-COVID, we don't do this too much now, but bubble, bubble. And every single heart is beating together as one heart. So, and when they say in all the songs, about lovers, two hearts beat as one. Okay, if you're lucky enough to have a lover, check it out, and you're going to find out that your heart is actually beating at the same rhythm. So that was a good thing that I learned, but I'd rather leave that part of the biology up to others at this point in my life. But I learned that, and it was a really important lesson. I also learned I am not going to catch frogs and cut them open just to see what's inside, but that's just me, not my call. Okay, our hands are amazing. Our hands know things we can't even imagine. So try this too. Your hands can do things you don't know, your executive function that your mind doesn't know your hands can do. Okay, this has been discovered with this thing called the homunculus. You can look this up. The homunculus they call the little human in the brain. So what they've done is they have mapped the brain. We humans have mapped the brain. And what we learned is the largest part of brain function goes to the mouth, the hands, and the feet. So this is where all this energy is coming from. And with this, it is shown in this neuroimaging how the brain is connected to the hands, how the hands know and educate the brain, because the hands can just automatically do stuff. Like, like if something's falling and you automatically reach out and grab it, and then the brain gets it, but the hands already know what to do. And okay, and so here was an example of this in my life. The hands know independently. So you may receive a call, ancient and or future from your hands. So I had a dream that I knew how to sculpt, and it was like a guidance. It was like guidance from the the masters of the universe telling me, you know how to sculpt, go out and get some clay and you'll find out. And I'm like, no. And they also said, I'm going to put this in there, you know how to make dolls. Okay, I was at Stanford University, head of a big research project. I was a director and all this stuff, and like, I am not going to make dolls. That was my response. Oh, but you know how, and you're going to find out. So go get some clay. Well, I heard that. I listened to it. I don't know. I'm always up for an adventure. So I went to a school supply store and bought clay. Well, I had to ask the person, I think I want to do some clay. What kind of clay should I get? And the person looks at me like I'm crazy, And I say, the person says, well, why don't you try some porcelain, So I say, okay. So I take this porcelain home, and my hands knew exactly what to do. Exactly. It just happened. The very first one I made, someone wanted to buy it. The first set I made, a store wanted to buy them. I sold them to the store. They weren't even fired. I didn't know anything about it. And they bought the unfired pieces. And porcelain, you can just break it apart if it's not fired. And the owner of the store came in. The buyer bought the stuff. And the owner of the store came in and said to the buyer, you can't buy this stuff. It's not even fired. but the buyer liked the shape, right? So the buyer, calls me up and says, I'm really sorry, but, the owner came in and these have to be fired, right? So I go back to the school supply store. Oh, I need to fire the stuff I made. What can I do? And he said, well, you could buy a kiln. I mean, so that's how the whole thing started. So I said, yeah, let's go for it. Put the kiln in my car, went back, fired them. Then they're back in the store. So for 3 years, I sold them. I made them and I sold them. But my brain, my executive function had nothing to do with it. It was all in the hands. The hands. So listen and experiment. 10 fingers. Hands. The hands formulate. Okay, message from the hands. The big part of the brain then is connected with those functions. Okay, our hands can count. We count to 10. 10 numbers, 10 steps, 10 stages, 10 passages, 10 portals, 10 gates, 10 powers. How many are you? I'm 2. There you go. This is us. We learn it early. Our hands and brains begin to create an image of our universe with 10 numbers. And so these are like preliminary and advanced ways of knowing, but it's all based on the same thing, our hands, our numbers. We model these steps and stages of being and becoming, which are also called stages of outflow, stages of emanation, developmental stages. Well, and you know that the tree of life holds these stages. This is exactly what we've been studying. Same stages that move all the way through all math and all science on our planet. We dream as humans. We reflect. We think. We travel. All to discover what is and how it came to be. And we keep developing this further and further. We travel afar, without and within, exploring, realizing, and remembering. And here I put up the tarot card, the Hierophant, because the Hierophant, standing between these pillars, is continually reflecting and revising, especially because the Hierophant is the number 5, one hand, number 5, who has been through so much of the difficulty that comes with the 5s. Very shamanic experience, this difficulty that we have in trying to understand, in trying to put things together. The Hierophant works through all that, and then in the end, the exalted Hierophant becomes one who is fit to heal, having been healed. And the Hierophant can give out then the healing blessing. That's the exalted Hierophant. The unexalted Hierophant would be the one who hasn't been through the whole healing process and isn't necessarily the real deal, where it's more political or something like that. Here's what we learn. We learn knowledge is power. And I say, proof by cartoon. This is because knowledge changes, but the human species remains on the path of these 10-point paradigms of knowledge. Okay, and those are going to change, but there's still 10-point paradigms of knowledge. Okay, if you want to know more about that and then how that moves, see Thomas Kuhn, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. So he's a philosopher, and he was the one who came up with the concept that we throw around all the time, which is called paradigms. He came up with he categorized it, the paradigms we have lived by. Okay, so knowledge is power, knowledge is power, knowledge is power. But I put up in the corner here, this little cartoon, knowledge is power, the power to make other people feel stupid. because there's also the control of knowledge, and there are different types of knowledge. Okay, and I don't want to go into, this is basic sociology. I don't want to go into that too much right now, but knowledge empowers you. Okay, so what kind of knowledge are you pursuing, and how is it impacting you and the planet? Okay, and the last thing that I want to do is make other people feel stupid. What I want to do is help people on the quest that's arising within themselves to know and to find what they're called to, what we are called to. That's my path. But here, as humans, we become pillars of knowledge, upholding and creating our world. So I put here, it embodies itself. Okay, this is my favorite word again. It's my favorite word right now. What is it? It is the universe. It is reigning. It is the world that we live in, and it embodies itself. Okay, so we become the pillars of the earth. This is humans. We're the pillars of the earth. And in the priestess lecture, which was from last month, I talked about the pillars of Solomon's temple, which you see throughout the tarot decks. Those pillars are the black and white pillar that appear on many of the cards. And here I pulled out the High Priestess card from the weight deck because it's so clearly labeled B and J. Okay, so B is Boaz, and on the pillar it is inscribed, in it is strength. And then this is the ancient knowledge. And then Jacqueline, the other pillar, it will establish. Okay, what's it? Okay, well, later that became God. Putting God will establish. In God is strength. In God we trust. But the earlier word is it. So I'm kind of back to it, which I really like right now. And the middle pillar is the W pillar. In it is wisdom. We are it. We embody the future. We create our own story. And we are good at creating stories out of this system. This is a system that we live by. We create unbelievably fabulous stories that then we live by. Okay, this is a story that we created with, which is the structure of the government of the United States. And so what we see here is the three pillars, J and B, and the middle pillar, which is wisdom, it's balance. And then we see the three levels of the government. So we got the judicial, executive, and legislative. Those are the three pillars. And we have the triad at the top, Supreme Court, President, Congress. And then we have local level, state level, federal level, a nation under it, nation under God. Uh-oh. Hope I don't get in trouble. Okay, so but this is Masonic, the Masonic diagram. So we learn to think, in these ways. So as we observe and create, we are observed and created by ourselves. Whoa. The all-seeing eye becomes the eye that we see each other with. And now we are really experiencing this. I won't go into it, but to the most massive totality, the seeing eye is everywhere. We have made that happen. We are amazing what we can do. So we remember and code. We code sequences. We code portals within and outside ourselves. So these are just three examples based on the Tree of Life of coding: planetary coding, galactic coding, universal coding. This is all in the imagination, how we work with these energies. So everything from creating the government to planetary systems, galactic systems, universal systems. It's great for storytelling. And I'll just remind you again at this juncture that all of this takes place on this very small planet, and we'll return to that. Okay, we create and enter passages and rites of passage that define and create us without and within. And those passages again become like these systems, these 10-point systems of doorways. So this is also part of what we do. From a distance, we can take in a wider view of all of it and see how it all fits together. So this tarot card, the Eight of Fire, the lightning path, this is backing away, backing out of those broken apart 10 points. We break them apart so we can understand them, but then when we put them back together and we back up, we can see the whole thing functioning together at the same time. Everything becomes illuminated, just as if lightning is striking and illuminating the whole landscape. So this is the paradigm we know by. When we zoom in on it, it is comprised of elements and the 10 powers of the universe, the 10 numbers, the 10 powers, those 10 points of outflow, emanation. The tarot cards embody this paradigm of Western thought. And, the Western thought, interestingly, the Western thought has, for better and for worse, transferred itself around the planet, even in a way permeating Eastern thought in a certain sense because of the, Western, I'll just call it sort of Western imperialism. I don't really want to get into that either, but the manufacturing and the way that things have been set up all around the world do reflect Western thought at this point in time. So many of them, Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India just popped into my mind, for example. Okay, so the elements of manifestation, which show up in the suits of tarot, fire, water, air, earth, the 10-point sequence of development, which is numbers and math, stages and states of being and becoming in time, space, and consciousness. Visionary cosmology, okay, the 10 powers. So this is a thing that I really looked into very deeply and tried to understand and explain. So this fits on our diagram of the Tree of Life. The 10 powers, the 10 universal powers that then underlie our scientific understanding. These would be the powers: origination, attraction, creation, stabilization, cataclysm, synergy, transmutation, symbolization, absorption, radiance. And here I only picked one word because it's way more complex than the one word, but the one word gives us just some guidance. Like, just as I look at that, I think, oh, I'd pick a different word, but I used these words in the book Visionary Cosmology and the book The Lightning Papers, in which I first outlined this system. Okay, so the first power, so I'm just going to run through these powers. The first power, called origination or centration, also includes in the tarot, so it's the 4 ones and the magus, which is number 1, and the Wheel of Fortune, number 10, 10, 1 plus 0, 10. And the sun, the sun is number 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. Those are all connected numerologically. Okay, the ones, the magus, the Wheel of Fortune, and the sun, they're all of one power. And the power is the power of origination. And what does this power mean? Just a couple points. Everything comes from the origin. It is original. Everything is original. Everything under the sun is original. The process has been around for a long time, but everything's original. And everything originates. Okay, then the universe centers around and concentrates on zillions of units of creative origination. You are a unit of creative origination. The tree outside your window is a unit of creative origination. Every star is a unit of creative origination. Zillions and zillions and zillions. And the affirmation that comes out of this, and this is from Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit, and also from the Lightning Spiral class. I am the body of the cosmos in every moment, spinning into form and realization. I am the body of the cosmos in every moment, spinning into form and realization. Then the second power, attraction. So 4 twos, the father, 4 fathers in there, but there's really only one father, branching out into 4 suits. So it's the father, the priestess, number 2, karma, and resurrection, all connected numerologically. Attraction draws together and coheres the universe within and without. These are what science knows as the powers of attraction so far. Gravity, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and electromagnetism. Those are all the second power. And the affirmation, I am an electrified force field. I am an electrified force field myself. We all are inspired to keep the universe in motion, because attraction moves things, and as they move, the whole universe is kept in motion. That's how galaxies are created, when a vibration moves through a nebula and it starts things moving. The whole universe needs to move, and it moves because it's electrified. The Fire Father is also contained in this power of electrification, because it lives in sphere number 2. He lives in sphere number 2. All the fathers live in sphere number 2, the power of attraction on the tree of life. So the fathers are always moving. By any other name, so in Tarot of the Spirit, we called it the fathers. Other decks call it something different, but it's the same position, same card. Third power, the power of conception, gestation, creation, generation, emergence. This is the birthing power, number 3. So this includes the 4 threes, the mother, the empress, number 3, the hangman, which is 12, 1 and 2 is 3, and the universe, 2 and 1 is 3. Those are the numbers that bring all those cards of the tarot together into the third power. They all belong in the third power, the power of conception, gestation, creation, generation, and emergence. And there are more words there. There are more, but I'm just trying to give you the key ideas here. And here's the idea of this generation. Atoms form molecules. Molecules form larger units, generating. Lightning strikes, and inorganic elements become organic. That's the theory. They become life. That's the theory of how life started on Earth. There was an ocean, and lightning struck the ocean, and bam, algae emerged. That was the first life form, right? Here comes algae, okay? And then this is the model of the planet we live on. Here's the affirmation. I am a center of creation and a zone of cosmological emergence. So I wrote about all of this in Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit. A lot of it is in my class, The Lightning Spiral, and a lot of it is in my book, Visionary Cosmology. So you can read about it more. Water Mother, so here she is in the power of 3, the third power. The father and mother, father is number 2, and the mother, both, the mother's number 3, but they both receive equally from sphere number 1, which is that sphere of origination. It flows down on the tree of life into the father and mother energy at the same time. So they're right there. The power of attraction and the power of creation work together. And then out of that emerges the universe. Okay, so that universal spirit, that is universal presence. This is the number one, which is both immanent and transcendent. That means it's within and all around us right now. It's within and it's also without. The fourth power then, the fourth power is the power of construction, codes, framing, and stabilization. As I've been watching a house go up outside my window, so I've been watching the framing and I'm feeling that power of construction, and so the 4 4s are involved in that. The Emperor, number 4, and death, interestingly. Death is number 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. Well, behind the Emperor, as solid as it can be, stands death, which the cycles are going to continue, right? Moving through those cycles. So the fourth power is the structure of creation. It's the creative yes. And then I put here, pass on plans. So that's like when you apply for a permit and they pass on it and they say yes. But I realized after I did this that pass can actually have 2 sides, because you can say, no, I pass. I don't know. Right. But here I meant, yes, we'll pass you. You pass you forward with a creative yes. So any given system attempts to stabilize what is important to its continuity. So it stands. What is stabilized depends on what is valued. And for example, ecosystems go through orderly stages of evolution, and they slowly change so that everything stays in order, usually. So they will adapt and stay in some kind of order. But eventually, with death standing behind, everything changes. There is nothing that doesn't change. Nonetheless, I am a sanctuary of nurturance, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to nurture what is important to us. I am a sanctuary of nurturance. Fifth power, destruction, demolition. Okay, things coming down. The 4 5s, the Hierophant, temperance. Okay, those all fit together, all within the realm of 5, the fifth power. So, but the fifth power is the creative no, which is just as important as the creative yes. And the creative no says, take it down. Bless and release. Gone. That's the 5. That's the fifth power. Sometimes it happens to us, or sometimes we make it happen. The universe is in a continual process of building up and taking down at all levels, macro, meso, micro. Stars are born and stars die. Taking down is a necessary balancing act in the process of creation. Too much creation without enough taking down is suffocation. It's impossible. In order to move and grow, it has to continue in a very balanced fashion. I am the power of dissolution and dispersion. I am the change that heralds the new. We are both. We are the construction and the destruction. And both are equally as important. By the way, I've been showing the earth suit all the way through here, because this earth suit, we're on the 5 of earth right now. This is where we act out this paradigm on the planet Earth. And right now we're in the 5. So here we come, well, not quite to the 6. Okay, first of all, powers 4 and 5 offer the rules, the codes, and the operating systems, the ethics by which we create and live. Okay, so, and I've been, again, watching a house going up outside my window. I'm thinking about the building codes. So 4 and 5 taken together, and what that has to do with building codes, right? But 4, 5, and 6 taken together is called the ethical triangle. And between the balancing of the 4 and 5, the creative yes and the creative no, and what this is where we get our values. What we say is right, what we say is wrong, what we feel about that flows down into number 6 where we hold it. And those 3 become the ethical triangle, our ethical system. 6 then is the sphere of the emerging cosmic child. It's the synthesis of the father and mother energy, attraction and conception blending into manifestation. The emerging cosmic child is created of cosmic force, which is the father, and the potential for form, the mother, active conception, gestation, and birth. So the mother and father, powers 3 and 2, contribute equal amounts of material, the chromosomes of human life, to the emergent child. So here I'm really talking about you, about us, about the sun, the divine sun, emerging, drive, manifesting, emerging drive, manifesting, drive. The drive is that fire, manifesting, the fire together with the mind, the brilliance, becoming on fire with idea. That fiery breath of the sun is called ruach. It's the fiery life and energy of the universe coming through us. Wind brother, the cosmic child, cosmic mind. So this is sphere number 6. Born from the powers of the father, attraction, and the mother, creation, and living in that sphere number 6. So this is the wind brother embodying that emerging energy of the cosmos. Here's a water brother. The sun, the cosmic child, assumes the powers of creation and opens to receive. Okay, so one aspect of that fiery sun is to enter into the watery zone, open to receive, receive, receive. And this is the meaning of the word Kabbalah or Kabbalah, depending on which language you're speaking, opening to receive. This has to do with the divine feminine in all of us open to receive. We receive. Every being on this planet receives. We receive and we morph into and as manifestation. Okay, so manifestation, manus means hand again. The hand, we manifest as the hand. Man is the hand. Festus is evident and spreading. It means evident and spreading. So here we go into manifestation. Our hand in play, evident and spreading, for better and for worse. The 6th power is called synergy. It's the 4 sixes, the brother, the lovers, and the devil. So here again, behind the lovers stands the devil, taking the lovers apart. Okay, I'm not going to go into that anymore. I just want you to know it all is part of the 6 power synergy, including the devil. All right, so the 6 power synthesizes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because that all flows into the number 6, the past and the present. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the past, but they keep flowing in to the present. The 6 also synthesizes 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Those are below it, but they're also flowing into the 6. So the 6 contains the past, the present, and the future right in the middle of the tree of life. At all levels, micro, meso, and macro, through all time, the constituent components create phenomena that could not exist outside of those relationships. What that means is the 6 is synergistic. It's like the gestalt of it all. It's a relationship that couldn't exist without all the pieces. So they're always flowing in there. I am integral to the expansive interrelationships of the cosmological community. None of us exists alone. Not one of us exists alone. We exist in this whole, the word that just popped into my mind is entourage, which seems really crazy, but we actually are constantly moving with this massive entourage of energies and forces and forms around and with us and inside us. I am integral to the expansive interrelationships of the cosmological community. 7th power, the vision quest, the transmutation, the metamorphosis. So this is the 4 sevens, the chariot, the tower. All wisdom flows forward and informs Wind Brother's journey. So Wind Brother would be the one experiencing all of this. The drive to evolve, the drive of the universe to create its own being and becoming, to create irreversible evolutionary change. Everything moving, everything is forever in flux. So it's all one great hollow movement, moving together, with including speciation, adaptation, and mutagenesis. And that says all the species keep evolving and changing depending on what's going on the planet. Like when the giant meteor changed the air and wiped out the dinosaurs or something like that, all of it is, we still keep creating new species, we keep adapting and entering into these mutations and widespread mutations, mutagenesis. I am the cosmological adventure and the transmutation of imagination. I am the cosmological adventure and the transmutation of imagination. This is within our power. The 8th power, symbolization, the 4 eighths, strength, and the star. So the 8th power is like next level coding, because we go on that vision quest, we find we enter into our imagination, we come up with new ideas, and then we code from those new ideas. We create codes and symbols to be able to convey the knowledge that we have gained. So we code in symbols. And so it's a higher level coding, because 4 is the first level of coding, where we start to name the codes by which to construct. And then we move into the 8, which is the next level. I am the record of cosmic experience, holding, integrating, and creating new code. And this is the Earth Brother, creating new code to move forward with. And then this is the 8 of Earth card. It's about perseverance, staying on the mountain. And the mountain's a metaphor for life itself. Stay on the mountain, continue to seek, continue to learn, continue to code. Oh, and I threw in, because here's where we are right now, Chat GPT, coding on the next level. This is a big number, 8. Coding on the next level, the power of symbolization. The universe evolves through coding and symbolization. Okay, so we get to the 8th power, coding, and this is the cosmic child's revelation. So the Earth Brother's the cosmic child, and here's the fullness of the cosmic child's revelation right now. It's really come into this wild place of Chat GPT with code writing interns and code reading mentors. I just got a big kick out of this. But this is exactly where we're at right now. Like our moment. What a moment we are in with regard to the power of symbolization. Number 8. Okay. And then we come into number 9. Number 9 is the power of absorption. It's what we take in from all this and how we evolve universal consciousness as a result of what we're taking in. So the 4 9s, the Hermit, the Moon. Okay, the Hermit, we're going into the year of the Hermit. So now what we're going to do is absorb, absorb, absorb. And the Moon stands behind the Hermit. So the Moon is all about psychic ways of knowing, feelings. It's Pisces, understanding. So we've got the 4 9s, the Hermit, and the Moon. These are culminations of what we know. Everywhere at all levels, the universe absorbs itself. We are universe, absorbing universe. Everywhere at all levels, the universe absorbs itself and learns. What we absorb and retain becomes our personal subconscious. It also becomes our subconscious mind. It also becomes the cultural storehouse of information we live by. So the cultural storehouse of information, we may not know everything that's in it, but it exists. For example, in a library, that's a cultural storehouse of information. Or on the internet, a cultural storehouse of information. And also what exists is the collective unconscious. And I'm not saying it's limited to these things, but there's also a collective unconscious we can tap into, which is the sum total of personal subconscious energies all aligned. Everything we've experienced, everything we think, know, do, say is all collected here. These are the dimensions we live by and within, which are often unexamined. So we don't even know. We don't remember. We're not thinking about what we're living within. We're just going forward. That's why we want to take the time out for hermitage, the hermitage of the 9s, so that we can examine and we can reflect. That's the idea. I am reflective universe, witnessing and remembering the possibilities of its course. This is the 9 coming into illumination. I am reflective universe, witnessing and remembering the possibilities of its course. This is stepping into our power of taking agency, assuming agency in our course. Then we come to the 10th power, radiance, our earth-based cosmic walk, because we are cosmic individuals. So how will we walk this planet? The 4 10s, the sisters, the sister, I should say, there's really one branching into 4. The magus, the fool. Okay, why magus and the fool? Magus is number 1, the fool is 0, but the 1 and the 0 go into the 10. The fool, the wheel of fortune, number 10, and the sun, number 19. 1 and 9 is 10. Okay, the universe radiates what it learns. It radiates what it retains. We don't retain everything. Like, you're not going to retain everything that I'm talking about right now, but you know where to find it, so you can go back. But it's what we learn, and that what we retain is how we walk it out onto the planet, what we're retaining. And that becomes our great work. And this is the 10 of Earth card, the great work. I am radiant cosmos expressing itself as a child risen from the sun. We are all risen from the star, our star, the sun, the planet. Our planet is risen from the sun. We are risen from the planet. I am radiant cosmos expressing itself as a child risen from the sun. And this is who we are. Earth sister is called the Holy Shekinah. Apotheosis is the end of the road of realization, and this is elevation. Apotheosis is elevation to divine status. Okay, well, you say, well, that sounds like a little bit of hubris there, or whatever. But it is true. It's a way that we look at the universe. We can look at the universe. We can look at it in any way we want. But if we look at the universe and we say, oh, it's sacred, The universe is a sacred place. It's a divine place. If we say that and we believe that and we feel that energy, it becomes divine, it becomes sacred, and then we become sacred. But it's because we are universe. And then the people are sacred, and the cats are sacred, and the dogs are sacred, and the flowers are sacred, and and then it becomes different. Our perceptions shift and change. We become realized. That is the term that is used in Eastern philosophy. Becoming realized. We realize, we become realized. And when we're realized, we become, in a certain sense, like gods. Okay, Joseph Campbell talks about this. Apotheosis as the last stage of the hero's journey in many cases. Becoming more aware, becoming changed, becoming different, becoming imbued with sacred energies, which doesn't mean that others are not. The more we become, the more I become imbued with sacred energies or feel it, the more everything becomes sacred. Because it's all one heartbeat. So we are as leaf, as tree, as universe, and as God. It's all in the way we look at it. It's all in the way we define it. And leaf, tree, universe, and gods must therefore be like us. So here's where you can see we can get in a little bit of trouble. Okay, and I'm not gonna, because you all already know who I am. So it's like, yes, we can go through apotheosis, and there's another side of it, which is, we'll just say, watch out. Okay, watch out and watch out. All right, now this is my favorite. Here comes my meditation for the last few months. All of this great work, all of the stuff that we're doing, all of the 10 powers, all the 4 elements, everything we strive for as humans takes place on a teeny tiny planet within the solar system of a teeny tiny star. It's so sweet, when you think about it. If you can see Earth there, so that's the sun, and then there's Mercury, then there's Venus shining so brightly like the morning star. It's a planet, but like the morning star and the evening star. There's Venus in the cradle of the moon. It's so beautiful. And then here's Earth. We're seeing Venus from Earth. And like on a good night, we can see Mars, but Mars is smaller. But then look at Jupiter. Those are my sound effects for Jupiter. Look how big Jupiter is. And look how little the Earth is. Our beautiful little water planet. So everything is taking place on this teeny tiny planet. We are all that. We are that. Oh, there's the sun. If you look real close, our star is a tiny speck of light in an unfathomably vast cosmos. And all our drama and all our realization, ourselves as leaf and tree and universe and God, all taking place in this teeny little corner of the universe. And yet, it's our corner. It's our place. It's our lives. And so, we're going to continue. And we're going to do the best we can at understanding ourselves and going for it. We are a very new species. Let's see what happens. We're a new species. We're on a planet that's continuing to evolve and continuing to try to balance itself. It's trying to balance itself out, temperature-wise, weather-wise, and all that. But we're a new species on this brand new planet. We're small, but we are ubiquitously imbued with the cosmic elements and the 10 powers of the evolving universe. So let's see what happens. Let's see what we do with it. Let's see how we go forward. There's another size comparison. There's the human and the T-Rex. It's a pretty big dinosaur there. Okay, that's on the bottom. Okay. So here we come to humanity's great revelation, and this is out of Visionary Cosmology, right? My book. We are the fire, the spirit, the water, heart, air, mind, earth body of universe evolving. We are becoming on a tiny planet in accordance with the 10 cosmological powers of evolution. The tarot holds the secrets of our cosmological knowledge and power. It's in this little deck of cards. How wild and crazy is that? All the stages, the 10, number 10, and the outflow of the whole thing. I am the Stargate awakening, the portal and the passage into new dimensions of becoming. That's the doorway of number 11. I am the Stargate awakening, the portal and the passage into new dimensions of becoming. And this is where we come to an end today, but we're not going to end without a tarot reading. So you can go into the 10 gates of evolving consciousness and manifestation, and you can lay it out on the tree of life, your spread. And then these are the questions. What makes me original? What's my calling? This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 powers, right? What's my calling? That's the power of attraction. What am I conceiving? What am I constructing? What am I dissolving or deconstructing, taking apart? What is my eternal essence? That's the number 6 synergy that everything's pouring into. What am I evolving into? That's my vision quest. What symbolic code am I writing? Like, what codes am I bringing in? What symbols, and what am I tossing out into the universe? What am I attending to and absorbing? That's number 9. What am I retaining? And then 10, what am I radiating on, as, by, and for the earth? I am the earth. I am on the earth. I am as the earth. I am by the earth. I am for the earth. I am the earth. Okay, so what am I radiating on, as, by, for earth, cosmos, universe? So this is our reading, and you can pause it here, but I'm going to bring this to an end right now, and we'll come back to this reading. So for more information, to go deeper into the universal dive, here are the books I mentioned. Mircea Eliade, Shamanism, Jung, Mandala, Thomas Kuhn, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, and then my books, that I'm throwing in there, Tarot of the Spirit, Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit, and Visionary Cosmology, together with the Lightning Papers. And then you can also check out the Tarot of the Spirit and my YouTube channel, because I've got a lot of YouTubes with this information. Okay, so what we're talking about today, this is sort of a summary of the whole thing. If you are just coming into this today, I do not expect you to fully understand all the things that I've been talking about. It takes years to really get to some depth with this. You can take it at face value first, that's good, but then it takes years and years to go deep into it, where you really have a very full, deep, and rich grasp of it. Okay, and you can get that through these books and through further study. Okay, and I want to end by saying thank you so much. I so appreciate you, and I appreciate you tracking with me, and I love tracking with you. So please stay in touch. All right. Okay. Ending for today. Bless, bless.